Hello, my name is Elim Arthur Léigh and I am a 30 years old art fruit from the UK, and Onwards and Downwards has asked me to answer a few questions about my very long hair, which I've had for a very long time. So a little about me: I am a record label manager. I run an independent label called Phalanx Music, which specialises in alternative electronic music for independent artists. Off the back of that, we have produced an annual festival in London, which takes place every October, called RPM Festivals. Around that, I run a production service called Phalanx, which is for the production of CDs, cassettes, vinyl, DVDs. Yes, people do still buy those. And I'm an artist and performer around all that when I have the time as well. Also, I'm a budding trainee pole dancer. Yeah, really. So maybe in a year or two I can call myself an actual pole dancer as well, because I'm still relatively new. My hair journey started probably when I was about 15. The last time I remember there being any documentation of me with kind of short boy hair was probably my last school photograph. Those really horribly orchestrated, cringy photos with the watercolour background that your parents are blackmailed into buying even though you look terrible, and had like the wonky short back and sides, fringe bang, just grim. But the summer after that, I just missed 2 hair appointments to get my hair sorted out and never looked back. And by the time I turned 17, I had long hair. That's the origin story. And then by the time I was 17, I'd come out of the closet, which is always a journey of self-discovery and identity. And it all just started to evolve. And I think that's when I really became an individual, an actual person. The one way I could express myself was just with my image. And so I was very inspired by nicely tailored menswear, but how far I could take it and explore the boundaries with it a little bit and kind of fuck with the gender identity of it a little. I don't personally consider myself non-binary, but I'm certainly on the spectrum. I don't identify as non-binary, but I've always enjoyed blurring the lines with what is and isn't menswear. And the hair has been a very important accessory to go with that. Because historically, men have always had long hair. Back in the day, it's always played a part in history, but there's so many weird connotations behind it now that are feminine, it's not masculine. But yeah, screw that. So my mother was very supportive because I think maybe I was the Barbie doll she didn't get to play with when I was growing up because I wasn't given Barbie dolls. But she was very fastidious about her hair anyway because she had an abundance of products and always probably took too much care of her hair. She was always blow drying it every day, and she had every kind of shampoo and conditioner and serum and frizz treatment and colour treatment that you could imagine. So when I did start to grow my hair, her mentality was, well, if you're going to do it right. And I have all these products you can experiment with. And that's when I fell into the routine, which I do champion, I do stand by: change your conditioner twice as often as you change your shampoo. I do think that really works because it keeps your hair very stimulated and stops it kind of getting too accustomed to particular brands of shampoo and conditioner. And I think it also, maybe this is just for guys with straight hair, but I do think it helps stimulate growth. My hair grew very quickly because I was mixing and matching quite a lot. But as I say, change your conditioner twice as often as your shampoo. It works. I can't really verbalise what my hair means to me in terms of like an emotional, cerebral level, because it's always been there. I think since my evolution and growth as a person, it's kind of just like a limb. It just feels part of me. And it started growing at 15. I've had it for over 24 years now. You do the maths. I'm very lucky to be my age and still have such an abundance of lovely, luscious, well-managed, well-cared-for hair. So I kind of owe it to my hair to kind of keep at it, persevere, and just see where it goes. It's just about past my ass now. I've recently trimmed it. I lost about 7 inches a couple of weeks ago. I should go to the stylist every 6 months, but I don't. So I take care of my split ends myself every couple of months. And I lost about 6 inches a couple of weeks ago. So normally it would go past my ass. Don't know if you can really see that now, but so normally it would go past my ass, but yeah, I prefer to kind of side saddle it, and I call it the Lady Godiva. If it just runs down my back, it gets caught in jackets, it gets caught in coats, it gets caught when people give me a hug. I like hugs. And I just think it kind of goes well with the lines of the clothes that I like to wear. Yeah, I think it works, especially with a nice waistcoat. There you go. So this is generally my go-to style when it's clean and washed. If it's a bit scuzzy and unwashed, I will probably just man bun it, samurai man bun it, or just a back of the head man bun, or just a ponytail. It's easy, it's convenient. If I'm going to some kind of fun night out or whatever, I will sometimes do Princess Leia buns, I will sometimes do 90s knots. I do like a good asymmetrical uni bun, just a nice big wanna. And they can be good foundations for accessories. I like crazy fascinators and making elaborate masks that I can use my hair to pin and be the foundation of. And yeah, I find the crafty side of me, the creator, likes to use my head as a foundation for things like that, and straight hair in a bun is good for that. What I did discover last year though for the first time is how to give myself volume properly, because my hair is so straight. I've never really had a decent amount of volume at the base, which is always quite frustrating. But through use of a good crimper and a good backcombing comb, which I know are horrible words, I know it strikes fear in a lot of people, but I learned how to do it properly and safely without damaging my hair, and I can give myself big, nice, bouncy, voluminous hair. And with that, I learned how to do a pompadour, a proper quiff, I can bouffant, I can do full-on crazy styles, and give myself proper volume, which I will be doing a lot more of moving forward, because it's fierce. My hair care routine has changed in the last year, and although I do champion the whole change your conditioner twice as often as you change your shampoo, that again has changed in the last year because I do suffer from psoriasis. I have tended to get annual bouts of quite bad flare-ups of psoriasis, usually kind of on my forehead, and it goes down to my face and goes into my scalp, and it can get very red, very sore, very dry, very blistered, and generally be pretty horrible. And last year, when I had a flare-up of psoriasis, I reached for the medicated shampoo. And what I usually would do is go with my usual brands of shampoo, but do a pre-treatment of the Nizoral. And my usual kind of shampoos would be something like Aussie, fantastic brand. Their 3-Minute Miracle conditioner is also fantastic. It's a lovely treatment for the hair. But this is just their Miracle Moist shampoo, which was pretty good. And then, although I would chop and change the conditioner quite a lot, just Tresemme does the job. An ex of mine is now a stylist, and he did treat me to, I think it's pronounced Davines, these beautiful products, but they're very expensive. I wouldn't normally buy them because they're expensive, but they are really good, and you do feel really bougie using them. But with the Nizoral shampoo, either I was using it too often or I had an allergic reaction to it, but my hair started shedding a lot. It was falling out in handfuls, which was very alarming. You'd never want to see a giant handful of hair when you're washing your hair or brushing your hair. And it was freaky. It was horrible. I've never had that. I've never had a receding hairline. I don't have a receding crown. So to see handfuls of hair is always traumatic. And so I went to the GP and we tried to rule out if it was dietary, if I had an allergic reaction to something. but the only thing we could work out was the Nizoral. And so I stopped using it immediately, and the psoriasis calmed down, but it didn't go, but it calmed down. But the shedding was just lighter. It was definitely the Nizoral that was causing it. But then, after a bit of homework, I discovered this fermented rice water in a shampoo bar, and honestly, absolute game changer. So it's literally just a bar of soap, and basically when I discovered that, I completely cut out all my other products. I don't use any hair serums, hair sprays, I don't use any shampoos or conditioners now, I just use that. And you lather it up like a hair, just like a shampoo, rinse it in like a hair mask, leave it in for 2 or 3 minutes, rinse it out, done. And that bar has lasted me 8 months already, and it's still the full size that it was when I bought it. So within the first week of using it, the psoriasis had gone, completely gone. Within 3 weeks, I'd say, of using it, the shedding had more or less stopped. Very, very fine amount, very fine amount after each shower, but that was it. By 4 to 5 weeks, shedding had completely stopped. By 2 months-ish, I noticed kind of any lighter patches in my hair where the scalp was starting to be visible because of the shedding. That had all filled out. And by about 3 months, suddenly I had bursts of loads of baby hairs. So I do have quite a lot of frizz at the moment because of the baby hairs, but I would much rather have shorter hairs to deal with, and frizz and a few baby hairs, than my hair falling out. So I will never go back to chemical-based products ever again. So apologies if this channel is sponsored by this particular product, but I don't believe in them anymore. And I will be sticking to the rice bar. Because my friendship circle is quite small, and the people I generally associate with are all kind of kooky creative artist types, I've been quite lucky that I've been quite well supported by people, and my hair is often a talking point because people like to play with it, people like to stroke it, and sometimes girls who have had traumatic experiences with failed hairdos in the past get jealous of it, and it's always a compliment, it's always lovely and always appreciated. But the only negativity I've really had is probably from the gay community. And especially in the world of online dating and app-based dating, we've all faced trolls from things like that before, but I'm kind of expected to have to justify why I look like this. And it's not like I can hide what I look like. I know full well what I look like and how I present myself, but for some reason I'm expected to justify it to people. Why do you look different? Why do you not look like the conventional short back and sides gym jock? And if anything, I laugh it off because it exposes their internalised homophobia. And if long hair makes people insecure about their own masculinity, that's kind of hilarious, and it exposes a dickhead that I don't need to sniff out anymore. So I can then just block them and move on. So it makes my life a little bit easier, but it is fascinating to see, and I will always reach for the, I think it was Tori Amos who said, well, Jim Morrison and Jesus both had long hair. So yeah, I'll stick with that one. So because of that, I get to wean out freaks and the judgmental types before we ever get to kind of things like dating or anything like that. And usually my hair's always been either very cherished by partners, or at least it's not been an issue. But the flip side to that is sometimes it has been fetishized. And the most extreme side of that is, for some reason, I've had several people who've taken, oh, I love your hair, to, I'd love to cut your hair. I really want to cut your hair. Would you let me cut your hair? And it's not just in a, I want to trim your split ends kind of way. It's in a freaky kind of, nah, I'm all right. No. And yeah, I'm not cutting my hair for anyone. Definitely not for anything like that. So yeah, no. Problematic scenarios with my hair. As I mentioned before, I think because my hair's quite long and past my ass, if I sit down on the floor somewhere, there's a puddle of hair behind me and people can tread on it. That's horrible, so another reason why I keep it to the side. But I have, on more than one occasion, trapped it in car doors before. I was given a lift somewhere once, and as I was being dropped off, the car door shut, the hair got caught, the car moved away. That was horrible, that was terrifying. There was a bit of a luckily I screamed loud enough for them to quickly slam on the brakes before anyone got dragged anywhere. But it was very embarrassing, very painful, but could have been a lot worse. So there is no long-term plan with the hair. It's just, as I mentioned, I'm very blessed to have very well kept, manageable hair that at my age now, I need to cherish, so I'm just gonna let it evolve and do its thing. Any advice for long-haired gentlemen out there, or people thinking of growing their hair? I can probably only really speak for people with straight hair. I know long hair can be an entirely different beast, but I would say, to reach for a British saying, don't over-egg the pudding. Go easy on the products. It's very, very easy to kind of try different serums and different conditioners and shampoos and treatments and spritzes and sprays, and all of it's irrelevant. I really don't think... I'd say probably 90% of it is doing more harm than good. And straight hair can be prone to being very greasy, and just on an aesthetic level, the more shit you put into it, the more shit it's going to look. But just be kind to it, and I think since discovering something like the fermented rice soap bar, it is a game changer, and I won't be going back to chemicals anytime soon. So just be gentle, and if you do like your products and you do find products that work for you, stick with them, but do change your conditioner. Stick with the base unit, stick with the shampoo, but change the conditioner twice as often. I do stand by that, because it keeps the hair stimulated without over-egging the pudding. So that would probably be my advice, I think. Oh, and get it trimmed regularly. I think if you get it trimmed every 6 months to every year, depending on how fast your hair grows, it will keep it healthy and it will keep it growing. I should probably take my own advice and not just trim my own. But yeah, my hair kind of has plateaued around the ass. That's probably the level it's staying at, and it's been like that for 15 plus years now probably. So I don't know if my hair will grow any further, but I'll keep trimming it, we'll see. There tends to be a bit of a growth spurt after I trim it, but I can afford to lose 6 to 8 inches every time I trim. So not everyone can do that. But I think once you get beyond the nipples, when your hair grows beyond the nipples, that's when you can afford to lose more, and then it will grow quicker. So that seems to be what works anyway. Well, I think that's all from me. Thank you very much for listening to me waffle, and thank you for having me on your channel, Onwards and Downwards, much appreciated. I'm Elim Arthur Léigh. I'm One Little Spaceman on Instagram. I'm One Lil Spaceman on Twitter. Should you be inclined to still stick with Twitter these days. Can be fun. But feel free to give me a follow. Happy to answer any questions about my hair. If you want to get in touch, feel free. Don't know, but feel free. Yeah, thank you very much. Grow long and prosper.